Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back with some more fun, quick tips for playing Warhammer 40k. So, orcs specifically, and melee focused armies in general, sometimes have a hard time dealing with transports and the guys inside. So, what I see, like newer players or maybe got people who don't know this, is they'll ram into like a transport and kill it, and then the guys inside will fall out, and then those guys get to come and like kill all of our stuff. So I'm going to show you some tricks to pop a transport in the fight phase and then also kill the guys inside in the same fight phase. It's not super complicated, but I will admit that it is not super common knowledge, some of this stuff. So what I set up here, I've got Gaz, who is obviously very good at killing stuff, with 5 knobs and a war boss, looking at a rhino. And inside of that rhino is 6 Noise Marines and an Infractor unit with the Lord Exalted. So if we were just to ram knobs into this or have Gaz kill it, whatever, the guys inside might be able to get away scot-free and fight us back. So what I'm going to show you is how we cannot have that happen. So the knobs will go first here, because what we want to do with the knobs is create a path for Gaz to kind of only go this way to tap the top of this rhino. So I got a 6 with the knobs, so we'll scoot them 6. Any roll would be fine, because your knob unit is like sort of a small footprint. No matter what you rolled, you essentially could do something like this, right? Now what we want is Gaz's unit to kind of wrap around this top side. So Gaz rolls a 6 as well. So now we get to go 6. And it's very important that you have Gaz kind of as open as possible here. So he's 6. Cool. And then Makari, we don't really care about this guy. He's very cute, though. All right. Now, it's very important that these knobs kill this rhino. So depending on how scared you are of that, you can like crit 5s or whatever, but we're not going to talk about orcs specifically here. So right now what we have access to is we're giving our opponent enough room on purpose so that they can fall out on this backside of the vehicle without taking like a desperate. So what will end up happening here is the knobs will blow up this rhino into the sun, and then our opponent kind of has to decide, okay, which one of these 2 units do I want to have get tagged with the Gaz's unit? Because what's going to end up happening is he can't fit the Noise unit by itself, but he can't fit the Infractors. I've done this a million times. So the Infractors can fit basically like this, right? They go inside of an inch here, inch. Okay, so then the Infractors get to fit right here. In some capacity, we can fit, but it doesn't matter because this knob is within 4 of a couple of them. Then the Noise Marines have to desperate, blah, 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 blah. So then they get to go 6, like, over this way, sure. Now, what happens is, this rhino is dead. We have the option to pile in and consolidate with these, or consolidate with this unit, and we're not going to do that, because we want to give Gaz as much room as possible to go touch these guys. So now, when it passes around to Gaz's turn to activate, he gets to pile in 3 because he made a charge move. And this is something that people don't know sometimes, is if you made a charge move, you get to pile in no matter what, as long as you can meet pile-in conditions. So we are activating to fight, and then now we're checking, okay, is there a unit that is within essentially 4 inches of me that I can go pile in and touch? And the answer is yes, because we've got this result unit. So this guy gets to go 3. This guy gets to go 3. Now they're both basically going to touch each other. Then Gaz now gets to slide up 3. And then Makari, whatever, gets to go here. Now, Gaz fights. And if you guys know anything about Gaz, he will beat this unit into the sun. So now we get to kill this unit, right? Between Gaz, Mega Knobs on Wa turn, like lethal sustain 5s, it'll kill it. And then then we have like the Noise Marine unit that is sitting like right here or wherever they decided to put them. Now we get to go touch the Noise Marine unit with a 3-inch. Right? See over the inch? Boom. So now basically what we're doing here by doing this is saying that this Noise Marine unit now can't shoot us next turn because of how the army works. But that's just a quick little way to get around people hiding in transports with melee armies. So like quick like recap is, when you make a charge move, if the thing that you charge dies initially in another combat, you are eligible for a pile-in move. And that is the rule that we're using here to activate Gaz and then pile in into the Lord Exalted. So this works with every melee army in the game, not just orcs. So really keep that in mind. If your opponent's got a transport and like 2 or 3 wounds with some valuable stuff inside, you can use your resources in melee to kill it, and then have another unit pile in and touch it. So that is it for one of my first tips. So I have one more after this. All right, this one is a lot more basic, but I just kind of wanted to illustrate another part of that pile and consolidate thing that I showcased on the last thing here. So this is a really simple example, but it'll get the point across. So let's say our opponent has a tormentor here on 1 wound, and currently our truck, even if it does make a charge move, it's not guaranteed to kill it in melee, and we want to get the truck onto the point. We can't make a charge over the top onto the point. So our safest option here is to likely do a tank shock. And again, this is really simple, guys. I understand that, sure, maybe the truck could kill it in melee, but it's got 3 up armor save, etc., etc. So all we need to do, we just declare a charge at the truck. And again, maybe I could finagle onto the point, but we're saying that I cannot charge onto this point just due to the position of this guy, okay? So we'll charge the guy, and then we tank shock and kill him, right? Now, a lot of newer players, or maybe less experienced fight phase players, right? We think that, okay, the truck can't go onto this point because it's got nothing to fight. So you can't pile in because we're not meeting any of the pile-in requirements at the moment, right? But we do meet consolidation requirements, and when you're selected to fight, you're essentially being selected to fight nothing here. So you still are eligible for a pile-in / consolidate. So we check for pile-in. Okay, cool. I'm done fighting. Right now we get to consolidate, and we're going to look for, okay, is there an enemy unit within that I have to go toward? That answer is no. Now the next thing that checks is there a point within 3? And that answer is yes. So this truck does get access to a 3-inch move as long as it ends closer to the middle of the point. So that's a way for this truck to go take the point when maybe our opponent was under the impression that we were move blocked. Obviously, let them know that you can do this. But yes, you do not need to fight to consolidate / pile in as long as you meet the requirements to do said move. All right, and then my last little simple tip is just kind of sequencing charges and what my thought process is before I declare charges, and how you can kind of avoid getting cooked by heroics. Okay, so there's a few different options here, right? We have the Noise Marines on the backside. We've got the Mauler Fiend that we would love to kill, and we have the Lord Exalted unit that we would love to kill. Okay, so depending on the matchup here, we don't want to catch a heroic ever if we can avoid it, right? I can't remember the last time I was caught with a bad heroic that my opponent set up on purpose, just due to the fact that we have trucks and other stuff in orcs to kind of dodge this. And anything with dedicated transports or a medium to high unit count can do some cool stuff with this. So, all right, let's look at the scenario here. We have a Mauler Fiend, a Lord Exaltant unit that hasn't popped his super thing. We think Gaz is incredible, but Gaz doesn't always kill both of these, right? Mega Nabs kind of suck, right? So no matter who Gaz charges, the other unit is going to be eligible to charge with a heroic, or if we were multi-charge, we're still likely going to get hit with one of these units, and we don't want to take damage for no reason. So we have a truck. So a truck is a not super valuable unit here that can randomly survive and be very annoying for our opponent, move, block, etc., etc. So in this scenario, the way our truck is positioned, our truck can take out one of these 2 units from heroic, essentially, right? So what we'll do, we would say, okay, our Gaz wants to kill the Mauler Fiend a little bit more than he wants to kill these Lord Exaltant, just because of how the profiles break down. It's probably a little bit scarier for us to have this Mauler Fiend hit us. So we would have this truck. Honestly, the truck can multi-charge in this scenario because it's not a big deal. So the truck can multi-charge and tag both. So here we go with the truck. Truck gets an 11 because he is great. The truck now can basically go right here and tag both of these units. So now Gaz has a very easy charge, essentially a 4 into the Mauler Fiend. So Gaz gets to roll his charge. He gets a 7. And guys, just so you know, this is my first take on all of this. These rolls are very consistent. This kind of stuff happens very commonly. So now Gaz gets to make his 7-inch charge, right? Now these guys get to go 3-3. Now we've dodged the heroic from this unit, and if our opponent wants to interrupt, he basically gets to interrupt with Lord Exaltant into a truck. and who cares? Our opponent's like never gonna do that, right? Oops. So now we get to swing with Gaz. You know, just so I can show you guys the power of Gaz. Let's roll him really quick. All right, sorry, I had to double check Gaz's data sheet. I haven't attacked with this guy in a minute. So, all right, so we're on Watt turn, etc., etc. So Gaz has got 7 attacks. We do a pile in, so we got all the Mega Knobs. Makari is over here somewhere. So Gaz is, when he's leading a unit, he's +1 to hit, +1 to wound, crit 5s. And then on the Watt turn, he's lethal hits from Makari, etc. So we go Gaz, he'll have 7 attacks. Very sad for Gaz there. He does sustained lethal 2 of them. Oops. And then we'll go here. So we have 2 lethals, and this when he hits, wound on 2, so it's +1 to wound. So the poor Mauler Fiend has 6 invulnerables to make. And just like that, 4, 8, 12, 16 damage. The Mauler Fiend is just instantly dead, and it doesn't blow up. Right, okay, cool. Just want to show you that. That was fun. All right, so Gaz instantly kills the Mauler Fiend, and then now the Lord Exaltant, interestingly enough, like, if he doesn't pop his, once per game go thing, he actually doesn't always kill this truck. It doesn't matter that much, but kind of what I want to showcase there is how we can use our trash models to avoid taking damage on our opponent's turn. And then now, like, they get to crack back, whatever, but, taking damage on an opponent's turn is #1, like, thing to avoid in this game. So just be very mindful of that. You can use this to avoid Overwatch. You can use it to avoid Heroic. You can use it to do a lot of different things. Alrighty. And I have one more, a quick one, just for how you can navigate Overwatch. All right, for this example, we are very scared of the Noise Rain Overwatch in this example, okay? So we have a truck here that is full with 5 knobs and a war boss, and we want to get to this unit without being overwatched, essentially, right? So there's 2 different ways we can go about this. #1 is actually really in this scenario, there's only the one way. So all we do is just disembark over this wall here, because the knobs fit like this way specifically, and then we would just go for the charge over the wall if we're very scared of the Overwatch. Now, another option is, let's say, like, our truck had just gotten popped, right, and we're, like, standing right here, and if we move, we get Overwatched, and we are very sad about that. So what we can do is, right now, if we don't move, it's a 6-inch charge, and let's say we've got, like, a truck right here. If we just don't move this unit, we can't get Overwatched, right, in the movement phase. So if it's just standing here, and we have a truck that's within 12, we can just drive this truck 12, right? And then when we enter the fight phase, all we have to do is charge with the truck first. Truck charges first. Now all of a sudden this Overwatch is mitigated, and all we have to do is roll a 5 with our Orc dice. Again, this is my first take. Let's see what happens. Very cool. I roll exactly a 5. So we get to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get within an inch. Okay? So that's just a cool way to avoid Overwatch. That's, again, a really, really simple scenario. But remember, there's a million ways to avoid Overwatch if you don't want to get Overwatched. Between, like, maybe you can, like, add 2 inches to your charge to go over a wall. You can always charge, like, with a truck or something smaller first, just to get the thing tied up. But don't just be like, well, I have to get Overwatch. Like, a 5, it's like a 6-inch charge with a CP is like almost 100. It's like 90% chance. So, like, don't go get yourself Overwatch for like 2 inches, you know what I'm saying? But this is a quick little tips video for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and if I missed anything or did anything wrong, let me know. From what I understand, I did all of this correctly, but yeah, if I made any mistakes, please inform me. Thank you.
We hold this ground in the name